Welcome to Bleachers and Speakers. I'm your host, June, and Boss was late.
I was.
Just throwing you right under the bus. What's up, man?
Hey, we still here. We still here.
You don't sound like we are in playoff mode or anything, man. No.
As long as they are.
Just as disclaimer, we had scheduled uh, a guest, the Tampa Bay affiliate was supposed to do the show with us. Unfortunately, he had an emergency he had to tend to, and it was a very much indeed an emergency. Not going to get into details about his business, but we hope that situation goes well for him. And it's just me and Foss today, like it usually is. So we can preview. We wanted to do more joint ventures with the opponents, and next year we that's one of the goals is to do more joint shows with other FFS FFSN affiliates. Uh, I think that's a good way for us to get more viewers and more ears and more eyes on us if we do those things. And sometimes things don't work out. You had an emergency, and so we will not be doing the show with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I wasn't going to talk too much trash anyway, though, Foss. I was just going to it's going to be a humble show because, we're still down to earth with what's going on. We're not going to get too above ourselves. We know what it is as far as achievements and accomplishments. And, you know, you still got to line up and play football. So, Uh, wasn't gonna go crazy, you know. And plus, they Tampa Bay beat uh, they beat pretty handily Philly. I mean, Philly hasn't been playing good, but they beat them pretty good. So, but you got us. Me and Foster is here. We're going to do a preview of the game this Sunday. Sunday at 3 o'clock. Why is it 3 o'clock, Foster? It's usually 1 or 4. Why is it 3? Do you have any idea?
No, but I would assume it's something economical to it. I would bet. It's always about the money. So I don't know.
More
Yeah,
than
it's
likely,
weird.
that's what it is. I'm just trying to figure out why is it more economical to do the show at 3 as opposed to 4.
It probably something with TV and yeah, something to do with TV.
I can imagine, but nevertheless, um, Green Bay plays San Francisco Saturday night, so you'll see the opponent of
Who's
you'll
going
see
to that?
who the Lions could possibly face when they win they handle their business at home and win at home, and you get to see who you're facing the day before, which is pretty cool.
Hmm.
Do you have a preference, Foster? Here we go again.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. I would definitely much rather see the Packers. Um, it'd be another home game for one.
And that's what I was about to say. Like, I would love for the Packers. I don't want to say it like that. It would be cool if the Packers were to win and have another playoff game here in Detroit. Because we
Because
almost got messed over. Almost got messed over out of the economic uh, uh, factor as far as the home playoff game. We almost got messed over.
yeah. Now, granted, if they beat the 49ers,
They're gonna look scary though.
I don't know how much you're gonna want to see them, but we would the preference is to be at home. That's what it comes down to more than anything.
More than anything, home field advantage.
Yeah.
But if they win, that's going to be a scary Green Bay team.
Yep. Just gotta come see us at the den though.
Yeah, they came and they saw us on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It happens, man. It happens. We got some comments. I haven't been paying attention, but we got some comments. That's Dave from our Minnesota affiliate. He says, "There you are. We was running late. It's Foster's fault, man. It's miscommunication. Uh, Foster thought the show was canceled because of the guests not being able to be here, and we said, nah,
Show must go on.
show must go on. We're gonna do a preview show anyway. Foster, if you can do me a favor,
Mhm.
I like to. I looked it up, but I want to see if what you find is on the same page as what I have here.
Yeah.
Check out what the how the defense is ranked for Tampa Bay.
Okay.
Because
Um.
if I look what I looked at today, I think I've been giving them too much credit. Where are they ranked defensively?
Okay. So this is what I have. I didn't because I always look these up. It looks these things up anyway. What I found was that they are 17th against the pass. No, 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 no. That's their offense. They are third worst against the pass and
Mm-hmm.
fifth best against the rush. And I would venture to say that they are middle of the pack overall because
Overall.
it kind
Those are
of,
the notes that I have.
yeah. Hmm.
Those are the notes that I have. Also, tell me what you got for them offensively. Because this is
So they
that
are
was
dead last. They are dead last running the ball, and they are 17th passing.
okay. That's what I've read. So going into the game, looking at that, um, I think there's some things that can happen and be exploited Sunday. Um, if by any chance that the Lions do run the ball, by any chance, if we're able to run the ball,
Hmm.
they are definitely in trouble.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Definitely in trouble because that's what they do. They stop the run, and they've been pretty good and pretty stout against the run. But if by any means, you know, Campbell's going to, he's not going to, Golf's not going to chunk it 50 times.
No.
Not going to. He's going to try to establish the run regardless. And if there's any success there, it's going to be a long day. Long day. But they've been pretty stout against the run.
Yeah, yeah. And they were stout against us the first time around, but Jameer Gibbs did not play in that game.
No?
Nope, he was hurt.
Wow.
It's one of the few games he didn't play.
Wow.
But yeah, he was out.
That's good to know. That's good to know.
Are you able to? Would it take a lot for you to pull up a graphic actually?
Not really. You have to talk while I'm doing it though. Which
Okay,
graphic do you
good.
want? Oh, you already have it.
Yeah, 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 I do. I do.
Okay, I got you. Okay, fostering these graphics here. He's starting to be the graphic guy.
It's good
You have to
visual. Good
entertain the
visual.
people while I'm doing this, Foster.
Okay, yeah. So you guys like singing, dancing? No, but so yeah. Um, okay. So I was watching Aaron Glenn's press conference today, and he said a few interesting things. One thing being is that they are. He didn't highlight the fact that they are last in the league against the run. What he did say is that they're a willing running team. So whereas you would think to yourself, if you don't have a lot of, oh, actually he did say the yards against yards per carry isn't there, but they are a willing running team. Um, so despite the fact that they're not necessarily successful, they it's obviously an integral part of what they do, so they don't avoid it. Um,
Oh,
So yeah, I didn't get a chance to see how often they ran the ball against the Eagles, but according to Aaron Glenn, it was a decent amount, in spite of the fact that they're obviously not that's not their bread and butter. Um, yeah,
This is very, very interesting. Okay.
yeah. Are
This,
you able to blow it up a little? I guess it's not.
no,
It's mostly an audio thing, so
no.
it
You're
doesn't
gonna have
matter.
to.
But
The people that are watching can blow it up on their screens,
right,
so it's smaller for us, but for our listeners, you can tell the people what you have me post here.
okay, so this is the injury. Oh, by the way, this is the injury report from the previous time that we played the Buccaneers. Did I explain that part?
No, but go ahead, keep going.
Okay. So this is the injury report from when we previously played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of course, we beat them 20-6. But we were without Brian Branch. We were out Jameer Gibbs. We were without Jonah Jackson, James Mitchell, which isn't as big of a deal. Um, and then we were out of Josh Pascal, who's obviously, he's back and has been a solid contributor on the defensive line. In addition to that, Sam Laporta was questionable and Khalil Dorsey was questionable. So not major injuries, but we know how we know how effective down the stretch Jameer Gibbs has been for us. Um, we obviously know that Jonah Jackson is a solid offensive lineman, and our offensive line and our protection is very integral to what we do offensively. And Brian Branch, who's been one of our bigger playmakers the entire year, was also hurt.
Hmm.
So it just granted, you don't want to put too much stock into past games, especially because Tampa Bay has been so strong down the stretch. But food for thought that we had some key guys out the last time we played them, and we held them to two field goals. They didn't score a single touchdown in that game, and this was in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, it was a pretty good solid effort defensively that game, and that was with we were worried because Branch couldn't play. I remember right before that game when we got the injury report uh, that Branch was one of those players that on that list, and it was we weren't happy. We weren't happy when Gibbs wasn't playing.
Right.
So
Yeah. And this is before we really fully we full this is before we fully unleashed, Gibbs. Um so yeah, but to finish my point about Aaron Glenn and their willingness to run the ball, they ran the ball 30 times against the Eagles. So despite the fact that they're not a dynamic running team, they are willing to do that. And we know ourselves how important it is to have a balanced attack and how that can ignite plays down the field. And they did that quite well against Philly. So I
Philly
just
was
thought that was
also
interesting.
given number one for Tampa Bay was running the ball like crazy.
Yeah,
He was getting them in chunks. So they weren't very the
yeah, he
Eagles
had a good
weren't
game.
very good against the run.
Yeah, our white, I cannot remember his first name, Rashawn, maybe.
Yeah, but that's his name though.
Okay. Oh, did I get it
It's
right? Okay,
White.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, White is his last name. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, that was one. Yeah, Rashad. So that was one thing that was interesting from Aaron Glenn, and and they touched on they talked about Cam Sutton and how the social media has been kind of attacking him, and they were asking, yeah, and they were kind of asking him about how he's handling, you being a former cornerback, so you kind of understand the scrutiny, and he basically said that, I'm aging myself, but I didn't have to worry about the social media aspect of it. But as far as what how he's coping with it, you know, he said that he kind of understands what most of the fans don't necessarily understand unless you're in the film rooms and those rooms where the games are being prepared for. The fans don't know. did he have help up top? Did he not have help up top?
No.
So I found it interesting in that because I questioned myself in the way he played some of those balls where he got burned on was he was playing as if he, as if he had help over the top. The amount of aggression that he pursued the receiver was almost like, I'm good because I have something over the top. So that leads me to believe, like I speculated, that there may have been some breakdowns that may have fallen on him, but may not necessarily be due to mishaps on his behalf. But like I said, I think those are things that we are working on, and we will be better off moving forward after having to deal with those mishaps early on, um, before this point.
Yeah. It's definitely some breakdowns and coverages. It's not all on him. And a lot of times with these defensive backs, it's it's a lot of times it's not on them. They're in where they're supposed to be. And sometimes the coverage doesn't match uh the play, and sometimes a lot of times they do get out of position. But there's other factors that go. You just can't say that someone's just out there getting toasted, and that may not be the case. So, long as he understands that the fans really, really don't know what's going on, because we need cornerbacks out there that's going to shake it off. Uh, if you get burnt, or there's a breakdown in coverage, or you give up or the defense gives up a big play, we need you to forget about it, line up, learn from it, line back up, get ready for the
Yeah,
next one.
short-term memory is major playing in
Yeah,
the
you
secondary.
you can't play corner in the NFL if you're going to walk around moping because you got burnt.
And I
Or
love my bad.
go ahead.
I will because Aaron Glenn is he's so raw when it comes to his interactions with the media. You can tell he's not a big fan of it, and I just knew that they were gonna ask him something silly, but they basically asked him like, they asked him about that last play of the game against Puka Nacua he um where he was a little handsy out there, and they literally asked him, "Do you think that was pass interference?" And he just asked, "Did they call it?" And they tried to kind of retort with, "Yeah, but," and then he was like, "Oh, so they did call it?" And they were like, "Well, no, but," and he was like, "All right." He just basically said, there's holding on the offense every play. There's gonna be some jostling between the receiver and the defensive backs, and they just have to make a decision. They had to make a conscious decision of whether or not they're going to make that call. And how are you going to ask them? Do you think, like, what do they really expect him to
What is
say?
he supposed to say in that situation? Like, yeah, it was yeah, it was
They
uh,
asked him that. They asked him that, and typical Aaron Glenn form was like, just you had to shut it down. It's like, really? I mean, I know that he knows they're doing their job, but it's like, did you really think that he was going to, throw his guy under the bus? Like, I don't know, whatever. Doesn't matter.
well, well
We're on to
maybe
the next thing.
maybe Cam should have, after the play, walked up to
Say,
the ref and said,
right,
"Hey, you blew it. I was holding there. You should have called it."
right.
Or maybe he should have held his hand up after the play. I got him. It's on me.
Yeah.
Maybe that doesn't happen. Hold on a second, Foss. That's crazy. Like, your hometown media asks questions like that.
Can't win for losing with this.
Like, why would you ask that question? Like, it's
I
just
couldn't I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And I know, yeah, yeah. But he was, yeah. Did they
well.
call it? Oh, they
But
did call it?
my thing is this, and we talked about this last time. When it comes to plays like that, that happens a lot where uh, there's a jersey pull on a pass, or too much hands or contact on a pass interference or on a potential pass interference call that doesn't get called. It happens.
Right. And oh, the first thing he asked was, he's like, could he have played the ball better? Yada yada. And he was like, did he catch it? And they were like, no. Did they call it? You know, that's he played it great if he didn't catch it. So, you know, it was just crazy. I'd love to know who the guy was.
I would like to know who the reporter is for that because he was being a jerk.
The voice
Sorry.
didn't sound familiar. It's funny because I one of the guys I went to school with is a media guy. Actually, I see him on ESPN sometimes. Eric Woodier, but it wasn't him. Thank God. I would have been like, "Come on, bro, why?"
There's some stuff that goes without answering, like, you know,
Yeah.
you
Next
just don't
question.
you just don't answer that
You
in
see
any kind of
Tomlin
way.
walk off when they asked him about his contract and if he had any
Who?
his Mike Tomlin, the Steelers coach,
Oh wow. What they
walked
ask
off.
you?
They said with 1 year left on your contract, and basically alluding to whether or not he would, does he think that he's going to get fired? I think they were trying to ask him, and he just walked. He was like, because they just finished the game. You could ask about this play, that play, this decision. The first thing you ask him is about his contract and whether or not he's going to keep his job. He was just like, heat of the moment, emotions still high. Right after the game, he just got up out of there like, all right,
They
I'm
have
out.
no soul after a game. It's like, well, you were obviously out of bounds and they called it. How do you feel? What?
Great, because they didn't call it, or what did you say? That they did call it?
It doesn't matter. Like if
Yeah.
you lost the game or they called a penalty against you, how else you supposed to feel? They'll do stuff like that, and
Right, right,
I
right.
don't
Yeah.
know,
It's like,
man.
yeah. Yeah.
I
They're,
mean, I
they're,
used
they're looking for the hot response, though. They're definitely looking to. They're definitely pull to see if they can get something spicy out of that. That's the whole. That's the whole. That's their job, I guess. So I
yeah. I
get it.
mean, I would definitely have to have some kind of media training because
Oh
no,
yeah, no, we
no,
not throwing you. We not throwing June just up there, just
no,
clean. Yeah, bad
no,
idea.
no, no. That's not a good idea. It's not a good. I would have to have some kind of media training because that you're not gonna ask stupid questions. Like, come on, like seriously, seriously. You're not gonna ask me. Do you think he could have played the ball any better?
Not if he dropped it.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like you know what that is, right? They basically saw the play and they thought Cam didn't play the ball well at all. He just held and they got away with it.
That's
Why
essentially
don't you
what they
just say
thought.
that?
Well, yeah, the
I
the
mean,
response would
you
have
you
been
you
even
can you
more.
you might as well instead of trying to make it a rhetorical question or a dumb question, say, hey, from my vantage point, it looked like he was out of position and and held a little bit and got away with one. How do you feel about it? It's the same stuff though. I guess that doesn't sound much better
Yeah,
now.
because Glenn gonna be like, cool.
That
We're
doesn't
here right now due to that not being seen from the ref's point of view.
yeah. I mean, I guess there's no correct way to ask that question, but I probably wouldn't have asked that question. That's something you would ask the team that got the no call.
Yeah,
Not your home team that you that got the call.
yeah. And even then, all I can say is, well, it is what it is. We didn't get the favorable, call that we wanted, and here we are.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I couldn't do it, man. I couldn't be in. Definitely would need media training. So we talked about momentum, Foster, right?
Yes.
Do you feel that the Lions have the the right momentum heading into the game? Now, mind you, uh, won the last two games, right? Was it or the last? Yeah, it was the last two games. It was a loss
Last
to
two.
Dallas, beat Minnesota,
Yeah.
uh, playoff game win. Do you think this is the kind of momentum? I know it might sound crazy, but I actually thought about what you were saying about Green Bay's momentum. They've had it over more than 2 games where they're
Mhm.
playing lights out football.
Yeah.
So do you like the momentum going into this next game? Do you think it'll be a factor?
Yeah, I like the momentum going into the game. I like the fact that we're playing a home game, and it's just we're getting healthier. James Houston has been cleared to play.
What?
You got to keep up. Got
I
to
gotta
keep
keep
up.
up, man. I don't know what's up
Yeah.
this week, man.
Sometimes I'd be wanting to send you stuff, but I'd be like, I don't want to be redundant. I know he's seeing what I'm seeing, but
Hey,
yes. So
man, go ahead and send it because if you didn't send it, Clever sent it. Whether it's showed up on my screen or not, I'm going to get an
I'm
inbox from
surprised Clever
Clever.
ain't said it to you
He don't send me stuff that I don't know. He's sending me the stuff that I already know.
that you already, yeah.
And he's going to listen to this show and he's going to find out. I had to tell. Last time I told him I got the app, brother.
Right. I got the
Anything that
same
comes on a
ESPN.
anything that comes over ESPN as what I'm saying breaking news with the app, I've seen
Yeah, James Houston doesn't quite hit that. Huh? Pause. But yeah.
it.
So Richard Bosler said, oh, put it back up.
Oh, my fault.
No, you good. Richard Bosler says, no easy games in playoffs. Do you think Rams are a tougher opponent than Tampa Bay?
I do.
On paper, yes. Yes, I believe so.
I
Um,
do. But it's a different week.
yeah.
It's different
Yeah.
circumstances. Uh, yeah, um, I think the Rams was a very very good test.
Yeah.
Man, going into that game, I got nervous. Like right before the game started,
I was nervous the whole week.
I was cool until kickoff,
I
and it was
stopped.
like,
It got to a point every time I saw like stuff on social media, it's like got that butterfly feeling. Like
I'm gonna tell you what did it for me, Foster. Sitting here watching, and I'm watching the never, I never watch pregame stuff before the game, especially college football, or what I'm saying, or I never watch the pregame stuff. Then I happened to sit down and watch the pregame stuff for this line stuff, and you had so many people picking the Rams,
they
and
were.
I got nervous. Like, wait a
Do
minute,
they
they
know
know
something that?
something. These guys know it. The fix is in.
Man, it was weird. It was really weird because we were the favorites. We were at home, um, but yeah, to answer the question, I think that we're not letting our foot off the gas, but I do think that a major burden was taken off us finally getting off the breaking that curse or that streak. I think it makes things a little bit easier. Um, that was obviously a very emotional game. There were so many factors with, you know, Goff and Josh Reynolds and the return of Stafford and all of that. I feel like so many things went into that game. Um, and just in general, I mean, I think the Rams, who are probably equally as hot as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but you know, you look at who's got the better quarterback between the Rams. Who's got more weapon? Who's got tougher weapons? I think you edge the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as far as defense is concerned, they're probably even. They're kind of I'd have to look at the numbers, but the Rams had Aaron Donald when it's all said and done, um, and they had some other guys as well, but yeah, overall, I think that the Rams were the tougher team. Definitely, when you look at where the Lions lack, which is in the secondary, I think that the Rams pose um, more issues. Not to mention the fact that the Rams had a very balanced attack. They have a Pro Bowl running back to go along with a Pro Bowl receiver and a Hall of Fame quarterback. So the Buccaneers don't have they don't have any of that. They do have Mike Evans,
They have Mike Evans.
who was later on in his career, and they do have some good young receivers. But Cooper Cup and Puka Nakua, like that's a tough 1-2 punch right
Man,
there. So
for anybody.
yeah, I said a lot to say that. Yeah, I think that the Rams posed a tougher threat, but every game is a new game, especially in the playoffs. So I don't take anything away from what the Tampa Bay was able to do because they beat the Eagles pretty handedly. Granted, the Eagles were limping into the playoffs.
Yeah. It's kind of tough to say who's the tougher team, but if I were to say a tougher team, I would have to go with the Rams because of that offense is scary when it's clicking. And they have uh Tampa Bay has Mike Evans, and he's been solid every year, 1,000-yard receiver. But they have two wide receivers that are very, very well capable of 1,000 yards in a season with Cup and Puka, and the running game. They can run the ball, and they've run the ball all year. Defensively, you know, I think it's about a wash, about a tie as far as who has the better defense.
Yeah,
That just but as far as the easier game, I think the easier game. There's no easy games, but I think the the tougher test was the Rams, and plus it was the first playoff game. Those first game jitters. I'm pretty sure uh, they were fired up. I'm pretty sure they were not only fired up, but they're thinking, they're nervous. Like, okay, they haven't got punched in the mouth yet, not in that situation. And I think there was a time where uh, the Rams did punch them in the mouth a couple of times, where the second half just stopped them, stopped their offense cold, and were driving. So I can't wait for this game, man.
hmm.
Can't wait for this game. At least we don't have to wait till 8 o'clock at night to watch.
On a Sunday at that. Well, if they're still on Sunday, but yeah, yeah, exactly.
I mean, waiting till 8 o'clock to watch them play is insane.
That was crazy.
Think about it. Like we watch them play at 1 o'clock majority of the time.
Yeah. We're not even used to watching them play into January. So, the fact that we had to wait to Sunday night to watch them play a playoff game, it actually wasn't the last game. We could have waited till Monday night. Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah, that would have been that would have been crazy. But one thing I noticed, uh, they believe in this team as far as ratings, uh, because they moved several games to prime time this year.
Yeah, I mean, that is a hot ticket right now. Well, literally as far as to attend the game, but just
Hold
in
on, hold
general.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Did you see the ticket prices?
Come,
They're worse than the first playoff game.
oh, I didn't even look. I didn't even
Oh
look.
my god! I'm not even going to give it. Go check it out.
I'm gonna check it out.
Go check it out. They are even more ridiculous than they were last week.
I mean, yeah, the stakes are higher now, so I get it. I understand, but whew, there'll be a whole lot of money in the building because I'm telling you, you got that ticket, you holding something.
I tell you what, if I see any of my friends that owe me money on that
Man,
TV screen
what?
uh Sunday, I'm pulling up. I'm telling you, don't be in don't be in no Lions game and you owe me some money. It's gonna get ugly. But nah, it's just man, those tickets are outrageous. And I guess because we know why this hasn't happened. And did you notice Foster, when the last time have you seen or have the Lions had a situation where they didn't air because of ticket sales? Because there was a
I've heard.
time where
Yeah.
they would have blackouts, right? Every now and then. They didn't sell enough tickets. And that was happening maybe 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah. During those 0 and 16,
Yeah.
yeah, they definitely had a game or two that was blacked out. So,
But we haven't had that in a long time. That hasn't happened. They
well,
pretty much been
even when you're bad, if you have a football culture within that, it doesn't, that's not because it's only like I said, uh, you only play 8 games a year at home,
right.
minimum. So, that ticket isn't as, there's less to go around. There's less options. It's not like a piston, but where you can go. Well, there's 40 other games we can go to, so we ain't got to worry about this one. There's only you only see there's only what? How many divisional games? 4 divisional games per year that are at
Hmm.
home. Like those are always important games to go to, unless your team is just god awful. So yeah,
Yeah, that's crazy.
blackouts. That's
We
unknown.
we
That'll
haven't
never.
heard that term around here in a long time. And it used to happen like we were worried about it every Sunday.
Right.
Like and
That's
then
how you
it
know
would
you're
it
a
would be
real
like if they
fan.
didn't sell enough tickets by Friday, they would
Hmm.
tell you the game is blacked out. They can sell the rest of the tickets on Saturday and Sunday, and it
But
could be a
by
sellout.
Friday,
But if they didn't sell them by Friday, blacked out. You didn't see that game on TV. It's
it's
crazy.
crazy, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. My have times have changed. That's it's good though. It's a beautiful thing. But me to be honest though, Foster, when it comes to big games like this, I'd rather be at home. I don't want to be at a bar. I'd rather be at home. Like I think we watched our first game together. You saw how I was yelling at the TV. I got to be in my confines, man. I can't be in public, cussing out the refs that can't hear me. I can't do that. I like to be at home. Hold on one second for us. We had a whole good old show planned with the Tampa Bay affiliate. Like I had some. Now I wasn't going to do. There's no like. It doesn't do me any good to do like scouting or intel because like nobody's going to hear it worth. That need like Aaron Glenn's not going to hear this broadcast or watch this show. Not yet. We plan on having that in the future, but but I wasn't. I did kind of want to find out his because you can learn something from like I learned a lot talking to the Rams affiliate before the game, just from my own personal standpoint. Like I did not know it made me go look and research for myself because I didn't pay attention to the Rams this year too much. I didn't know they had that kind of a running back. I don't know where he came from, never heard of him, never watched him all year. And when we had the show with the Rams affiliate, I went and looked, and I was like, oh, he has some good numbers, and I don't know what what I'm saying. I don't know how I let this slide, but he was pretty. He showed out. He showed out. Pretty good running back. They have a good future over there in the Rams, though. They build upon it. Don't they have a? Do they have a couple of picks extra from the Stafford trade coming up, or did we
I
get the
don't
grunt of that?
did we give them trades or I think
I'm
maybe I
not
mean
sure.
yeah, I don't know. Well, the big thing is going to be for them is whether or not Stafford continues to play. Like he didn't give any inkling that he would retire, but you take away Stafford from them, Carson Wentz ain't gonna be the guy.
No,
So,
he hasn't been the guy in a long time.
And Aaron Donald, obviously Aaron Donald, we don't know how long he's going to play. Cooper Cup, Cooper Cup, because he kind of had an off year. He was hurt for,
He was hurt
um,
for a lot of games.
yeah, like I said, they
Hamstring?
something lower body. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
But they can definitely build around the running back and Nakua, of course.
Man, where this guy came out of nowhere. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I knew nothing about him before the season started.
Nah, nobody really. Yeah, BYU, but they've been kicking out some decent players lately. We all know
But
Jamal
receiver
Williams.
though,
No, not so much receiver, but they actually have a nice little history of quarterbacks. So.
oh yeah, I mean, no doubt quarterback, but
Steve
receiver,
Young, didn't Steve Young go to BYU?
yes, yes.
Yeah, that's going back there, but
Ty Detmer,
hmm
they've had
he
some
played, but he
quarterbacks, but
played for the Lions. He was terrible. Jeez, Ty Detmer,
has
that's a
has a
name right there.
history of getting here and not being good.
I think Wilson, the Jets quarterback,
Yeah,
did he go to BYU?
yes.
Yeah. So wow.
Would you draft a BYU quarterback?
You said would I draft one?
Yeah, with given the history,
Yeah,
because they churn
not
them out.
anytime recently.
They put them into the league, but outside of Steve Young, they don't.
They don't really pan out.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. I would think twice before making that decision, but if they want another receiver to come out the way,
never would have thought a
any,
wide receiver
yeah, yeah,
would do what he's doing.
he's a beast though. That dude. Whew. I we won't see anybody as good as him. Salute to Mike Evans, but uh, in this next game, of course, we won't see anybody that
Man, I don't want to think ahead, right? But
good.
let's say,
Right. But let's think of
well, no,
it.
no, 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 no. Let's say the Lions. Let's say the Lions win, and you
Yeah.
had to face that San Francisco offense or that Green Bay offense, right? Both of them are pretty good right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you feel confident that we can do enough to? And mind you, that would be the game to get into the Super Bowl,
Ooh, 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 ooh.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be the NFC Championship game. Do you think that the defense that we have is enough? Because I'm pretty confident in the offense.
Um,
Do we have
I,
enough
I think
defense?
I think that I think given what we have, I think that all things considered, intangibles as far as everything, I think we have the personnel to do it between CJ Gardner Johnson, the emergence of Iffy, um, the way Kirby Joseph has played as of late, um, Aiden Hutchinson, who right now is who as far as who's left in the who's left playing right now,
Hmm.
I put him up pound for pound with just about everybody playing on the edge. And our linebackers have been strong all year. Leeming, I mean, we got the personnel is really there, and James Houston, his he's gonna be. I guarantee you, he's gonna be a guy that they're gonna throw in there for a good maybe 20 pass, likely scenarios, third down type, and he's just gonna his sole job is gonna be to get after the quarterback. We know what the numbers were over 8 games, 8 sacks in 8 games or whatever it was. Like he is a problem. And that is just yet another person that they have limited film on outside of last year that they now have to prepare for. So I think that all things considered, we stand a pretty good we stand a pretty good chance to get to the Super Bowl given what's in front of us.
Yeah.
In the and depending on what our road is, we may have two more home games. We may have home games all the way through, just depending on how Green Bay gives, how they do. But I think that's massive. You got a veteran quarterback like Matt Stafford who plain could not hear and had to call timeout. He had to call one timeout at the beginning of the third. In my head, I'm thinking that could work against them in a close game because the game was already close. They were losing at this point.
Yeah.
And then they eventually burned a second timeout still fairly early in the second half. So that is huge, and it's only gonna get louder. They said that was the levels. Um, it was fourth all time. It was Arrowhead. It was the Superdome. We know how loud how loud domes can get. And
For
then
sure.
there was one other game. I can't tell you where it was, but that was the fourth loudest decibel level ever. Like,
Ever?
yes, since they've been recording them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So, um, you feel that. You you feel that, and that's why it's so important. That's why it's so important. No matter, um, that it denounces the momentum narrative, but that's why you fight so hard to have that first round bye um, in the playoffs because those home games are
They
major.
matter. They
They
matter.
matter. They matter for sure.
They definitely matter.
Especially when
Um,
you're inside and you control, your team is built around those elements, and you control, yeah, you control the elements, and you build your team around that.
yeah, and home field advantage in playoffs. That's just something we're not used to hearing around here in in Detroit. Got a comment, couple comments. Uh, MSU Detroit fan says, "Go Lions." MSU Detroit fan also says, "Offensively, the Lions are fine. Besides, probably wanting to make a few depth moves. They are all set on offense." Yeah, the offense. I'm not. The only thing, the weakness, glaring weakness that worries me offensively is if you get pressure on Goff, he looks so awkward trying to avoid a rush. Looks like he's running in 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 swamp water. It just it's just if he's protected in his if he's protected, he's going to do damage. If he has to rush the throws or anything, that's when he gets in trouble. So that's the only thing that I see offensively. Um, I love the offensive line. I love both running backs. They bring something different to the table. Montgomery is going to get you the tough yardage. He runs hard, falls forward. Um, you got the home run hitter with Gibbs. Uh, you got the Josh Reynolds is becoming that possession receiver that we need. Uh, and it seems like when you need a play, St. Brown is open.
Yes.
You got Sam
Yes.
Laporta, and then you got an offensive wide receiver that can totally take the top off any defense with JMO. And he's doing more than just running uh, fades nowadays.
You don't see him run too many of those.
Well, I think they're decoying it because they're playing off of him. He's getting open.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, they're probably playing off to begin with. Yeah.
Yeah, they know he's a deep threat. They know he's a deep threat. And so they kind of back up off of me. And he's catching the ball when he's open, he's catching the ball.
Making some tough ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So um I'd like to see him, develop into a more complete receiver. And I think he will. I think he will. I've seen enough sample size of what he's doing out there, and I think he can be an all around receiver. He has the speed. He shows he can catch, and he's taking some hits. So uh, I like I like the offense. The offense doesn't worry me. It's the defense, uh, and then every now and then you have that game where uh, they don't block as well um, from the offensive line, and that's not a lot. It just every blue moon you see that. But that happens with every team. They do stuff. Uh, got another comment. Richard Boster says Lions should play loose. Feel they are playing with house money. Whew. Boster, can you break down the phrase playing with house money?
Okay, playing with house money, you feel like you have nothing to lose. When you're playing with house money, in the literal sense, you're playing house money. You're not
Okay.
playing with your own money, so you have nothing to lose. And I guess maybe in the sense that um, we've already accomplished what we set out as a measuring stick of winning the division and winning a playoff game. That was kind of our measuring stick. So at this point, we should play, not feel rich, not. Sometimes you play when you're playing scared, it affects, if we play loose, it's like kind of the opposite of playing conservative and scary. So I get what he's saying
Okay. Okay.
because there's still something left to accomplish for certain. So, but yeah, playing I think yeah playing loose and playing like you know we have house in that we're playing with house money uh is I like that mindset. I actually like that.
Well, our good buddy from Minnesota affiliates, he said they were playing with house money at one point, and I just wanted to make sure I
Yeah.
understood the term.
Yeah, and yeah, because they were missing their starting quarterback. They once again they had nothing to lose. They're playing with their backup, so if it doesn't work out, it is what it is because we're playing with our third string quarterback. So yeah, yeah, that yeah, the analogy definitely makes sense.
Yeah, I kind of like that. And I think they should play loose. I think they should play loose. Uh, I don't think golf should play loose. So,
Yeah, just do what you've been doing. That's all I can say. He's been
yeah,
taking care of
and
the
and
ball.
and be patient. Be patient. You don't. If it's not clicking early, uh, we've seen the Lions not saying give up a big lead, but we've seen how they can turn it on late. You know, so don't force anything. Uh, just keep fighting. Bite some kneecaps if you get knocked down.
Right.
Oh, I hate I said that. Gosh, gosh, that was horrible. Let me ask you this, Foster. How did you feel when you first heard him say that?
I didn't know what he was. I was when I first thought of that, I said it sounds cute, but win us some games. It, I've seen so many coaches, good coaches, bad coaches come and go. Um, and love, I'm glad that you got the fan base's support from the gate, but if you don't win, I mean, it is what it is. I'm all for it now, the metaphor, and I feel like we really do, you know, our boy Kirby Joseph, he definitely bite kneecaps with
Hey,
his helmet.
let me tell you a story, right? So I've seen these coaches come and go, right?
Hmm.
And there was one coach in particular that had me convinced that he was the one, that he was going to take this franchise and go all the way out with it. And
Who's
he
that?
did not last very long. Steve Mariucci.
Mm-hmm.
The Lions won a game. I think it was the very first game of the year, and they weren't favored to win. They interviewed Steve Mariucci, and they asked him, "So where do you go from here?" He said, "We're going to go into the locker room this week, and we're going to watch tape of practice, how we practiced last week, and that prepared us for this week. And that's the way we should practice. We had a wonderful week of practice. So we're going to watch tape of practice." Now, I had never heard nothing. I'm like, oh, yeah, this guy knows how to coach. I think they lost the rest of their games that year.
Was this the
If not
Joey
the rest,
Harrington
the
era,
majority.
or was this Stafford by that point? Probably
No,
Joey
I
Harrington.
don't know who was there.
You
I
know,
don't know who, but I remember Steve Mariucci being there, and I think that was before Stafford. I'm not more. I'm pretty sure that was, but I'm pretty sure they lost. They didn't have a winning season. Steve Mariucci wound up getting fired either the year after or that same year, but it was not good.
yeah, yeah, because he coached like what
The
Terrell
49ers when they were
Owens and
the 49ers when they were, you
Jerry
know what I'm
Rice.
saying, Steve Young 49.
No, was he go? Did he go back that far?
Yes.
Maybe early. Maybe late. Steve. Yeah,
Terrell Owens. Yeah,
yeah,
he was
yeah.
their
He
coach.
definitely coached. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Steve Young did play with Terrell Owens.
Yes.
Because remember the catch? I think that was against the Cowboys
When he was
when he
when he got
crying after the.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I was so mad about that, but that's neither here nor
He,
there.
he cried for the Cowboys too. That's my
That's my
quarterback.
quarterback. That's my quarterback.
That's my teammate.
Yeah. Dang, he did cry a lot.
Yeah. That's
Man,
my quarterback.
Terrell Owens. See, that was pre social media era for real. He would have been a monster on social media.
Man, what? All he has to do is get a podcast. There's a lot of these people that could do this, and just alone, just the subscribers they would get alone. Imagine if Randy Moss did a podcast.
Well, he's on TV, so he would.
I'm just saying, like, just imagine. You see what
Chad
Chad,
Ocho Cinco,
Chad,
yeah, Shannon
and
Sharp,
Shay Shay doing.
yeah. I can't call him Shay
I mean, Shay Shay is short for Shannon Sharp, and it's just like not a female. It's just
Hey, I didn't say that part, but you already know what it is.
Yeah, I know. I
Everybody
knew
got a cousin. Everybody got a cousin named Shay Shay, and it ain't a man.
This is true, Foster. I'm stumped on that one. I can't. I will
Can't
never
can't
call
can't
Shannon
dispute
Sharp.
that.
Shannon Sharp, it is because
Yeah.
you don't call Sterling Sharp Stay Shay. You don't.
Hey, that's all I'm saying.
Boss, do you have a prediction?
I definitely got us winning the game. Did I give a prediction at the other place? I don't think I gave a.
I did. I said 31-27 Rams. It was 24
Oh,
twenty
you talking
three.
about the Rams one?
No,
Okay,
no,
I was
no.
talking.
I mean, you asked, did you give a prediction last time, right? Is that what you was asking?
Oh, well, I was talking about the NFC North show.
No, no, no. I don't think so.
Um, no, I don't think so. So, my prediction is 31-20. As far as the keys to the game, I think it's controlling the line of scrimmage. I think it may be difficult to run the ball, but mostly what I'm concerned about is protecting the quarterback. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are sixth in the league in sacks, and they have an unconventional way of getting to the quarterback. Their top two leading sack guys are Yaya Yaya what's the name? Yaya Diaby, who's an outside linebacker, and Antoine Winfield Jr., who's a safety. has 6 sacks,
Mm.
um, which isn't a ton of sacks, but they as far as the sacks, they're spread pretty evenly throughout. But yeah, Levante David, 4.5 sacks. Vita Vea, who's their big nose tackle inside.
Hmm.
He's one of their leading sack guys. But like I said, they don't have just one. We got Hutchinson and then everybody else. They they spread their sacks around. Pause. Um,
Whoa, that was
um,
crazy.
a lot more evenly. So, but they get to the quarterback, and you talked about that earlier, how important it is that Goff is comfortable in that pocket and able to make the proper read. So, protecting the quarterback and establishing the line of scrimmage and getting off to a hot start. I think that in games that we fared well, Rams game, we went straight down and scored immediately. I think we got the ball first, and that's the first thing we did.
Scored the
And
first three times we touched it.
even against them, wow, yeah. But I think the only difference is they kicked the field goal and then they scored 2 touchdowns. So
Hmm.
that's a whole another story. But yeah,
Yeah.
um, yeah, when we do that, we set the tone, and that crowd, like, it's going to be insane after once we start off the way that we've been starting it off. So I think that's going to be a key factor. I think we beat them by 2 scores like we did the last time. But I do think their offense will be more potent. I can't see us not allowing a single touchdown like we did last time because they only scored 6 points. So I'm gonna give them a couple more points, but I think we continue to do what we're supposed to do offensively, and hopefully, I know Sam Laporta was limited in practice, which understandable because he's definitely not 100%. But hopefully, we can get Khalif Raymond back as well. Other than that, we're pretty much full strength on the offensive end.
What about Brock Wright?
Brock Wright played last game, and
He
he's
played last game, or
yeah,
was it?
yeah. Brock
Or was it the other one? Was it
Mitchell,
Mitchell? Okay.
Mitchell. It says that he was a full participant in practice.
Okay.
We knew that. I kind of knew that it wasn't a serious. It didn't feel like a serious injury. But yeah, other than that, the only
Looks like it's
person
the
on
healthiest we've been all season.
easily, which is the beautiful thing at the very end of the year, because nicks and bruises, of course, we had Anzalone limited in practice, but I don't think there's any issues there. He's the only one that was limited. You just have Anzalone was limited, and Khalif did not practice. That's it. And James Houston's back.
That's
Yeah,
huge. That's
he's
huge that he's back. We've been waiting for that.
yeah. For what it's worth, I'm not expecting him to come out there and be the second coming of Michael Strahan,
No,
but
but that's still another pass
it'll be
rusher.
great to just to give him another look. And what's I think we cut Julian Aquara. I think that was the
Whoa.
or waived them. But that was the transaction right there. Because you gotta make space.
Well,
Yep, cut him, cut him. Julian. I don't know how much Julian. I know Romeo's been playing. I don't know how much Julian's been playing.
tough luck, brother. There's always FUBU. All right.
Amazon's hiring.
All right,
That's
man. We're gonna get out
that's
of here, Foster, man. We passed the hour.
that's
I
bogus.
don't
That's
want the
bogus.
I don't want the I don't want the Romeo and I want
You got
Romeo
two
and
of
his
them to
brother looking
compete
for
with.
me, man. I don't want it was I was joking. It was a
That was
joke.
bold. That was
Man.
bogus.
Yeah, hey. It is what it is. Foster, you got any please subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers. That's our new YouTube. Subscribe there. Subscribe to Motor City Metrics. You can watch these shows. Check us out on all streaming podcast platforms, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Download uh, the episodes. It's Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Share them. Listen to them. Tell your friends. We need all the listeners we can get and all the viewers we can get. so we can continue doing this, man. I have fun. This is if you watch the Pistons show, you'll see this is a little bit more. It's a little different atmosphere. I don't want to say better,
True.
but the content's still there for the Pistons, but it's not as energetic. This is great here. Boss, you got any last words for him?
Let's get it done, man. Let's continue this ride, man. Let's all the way to
Think
Vegas.
about
We going
this.
to Vegas, baby.
Think about this. The Lions win Sunday, and they're one game away from the Super Bowl.